on dads, and welcome to the Betwixt. It's episode 66, recorded on Sunday, October 10th, 2021. I'm your host, John, here with special guests tonight. First, we've got Hambone Jonny.
Hello.
And my pal from the Denver Retro Gamers and the Denver Switch Mob, James Musik.
Hey, how's it going?
Thank you for joining us tonight for some Nintendo and its new organic light emitting diode screen. Welcome, guys. We have brought you here. We are all going to celebrate together the release of the Nintendo Switch OLED edition, which came out a couple days ago now. And yeah, the OLED is finally here. It's been a few months of anticipation, and we had a sort of Christmas of sorts on Friday. I just want to summarize what came out this past Friday. The OLED Switch, we had white and neon models. I don't know anybody who got the neon model yet.
That's what I ended up with, but did a trade with somebody. So I actually do have the white one now.
Oh, okay. All right. We got the Samus and Emmy Amiibo 2-pack, Metroid Dread Special Edition, which may or may not have included physical and digital versions, but as it turned out, just the physical. The matching carrying case, and some, I guess, pre-order prizes from various stores. But all three of us got it. Welcome to the show. James, I want to start with you. You did not pre-order it. And
no.
We were having a conversation, I think, the day before. And I said to you, if my Joy-Cons are really jiggly, I think I'm going to sell the OLED Switch and wait for another one. And you said, well, I'll take it if, because you're not as picky as me. And you said, but otherwise I'm going to try to get it. And I was like, yeah, good luck with that, because you hadn't pre-ordered. And you got it. I got to hear this story. Tell me all about it.
Yeah, so Thursday night, I set a bunch of alarms for stock drops. Like Best Buy was doing like a midnight stock drop. And there was like a couple other stores, and I basically just made it so I didn't get any sleep on Thursday night trying to like pre-order one or pick up in store for one. And at around like 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning, I pretty much gave up. I went back to sleep for like 30 minutes, and then I woke back up and was like, I'm gonna try. So I'm just gonna queue up at a GameStop. We queued up at one of the local, the bigger GameStop in the area at like 5:45 in the morning, and we just sat there for 4 hours. And
oh wow.
It was the one it's connected to like a Barnes and Noble, so we had like that. We could like run in there, use the restroom and stuff. But it was fun. Like I haven't queued up for a launch release in a really long time, so it was super fun. But yeah, we ended up with being third in line, and the store only had 3 extra. So,
wow.
Yeah.
Nice.
Barely got one. And it was the neon one, the red and blue. I did make a trade with somebody for the dock because they didn't want the white one, which I don't know why you wouldn't want the white one, but yeah, that was so I
wait,
ended up for the Joy-Cons in the dock.
So you got white Joy-Cons and the white dock for the neon Joy-Cons
and the black dock.
Yep. Oh, that's right. The neon one came with a black dock.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I ended up getting, even though they didn't have any extra white ones, I pretty much ended up getting the one I wanted anyway. So it worked out way better than I could have anticipated it working out.
Especially since I
gave up. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't even believe that. Why did somebody want to trade for the neon Joy-Cons?
It was somebody in one of the groups. He was just like, I'm not feeling the white dock and the white Joy-Cons, and I was like, I will just trade you. We talked about it the morning he got his, and for some reason I bet we were both so tired that we didn't even think that all we have to do is trade the Joy-Cons and the dock, because the system is not a different color. So
right.
Like we were like, no, that's fine, we'll just keep the systems that we got. And then I texted him like 4 hours later after a long nap and was like, hey, wait a minute. It just occurred to me, we can just swap the accessories and it's the same thing. And he was like, oh yeah. So that's what we ended up doing.
Oh, that's crazy. That's crazy. Now Jonny, you pre-ordered it.
We did. Yes. From Target.
From Target. Okay. How did your experience go? And then I assume little less stressful, but did you do pickup or delivery?
So we did delivery, and although it wasn't as exciting as sort of a camp out few hours beforehand. The day the pre-orders were released, I had a work meeting moved to the window when it was going to get dropped. So I was frantically coordinating with my wife to make sure that she was all queued up and had the different sites open to snag it. So luckily she came through for me. So definitely appreciate that. But I was worried it wasn't going to come the day of. We were getting some different information on tracking. It was going to come the day of, and then it was going to get pushed to Saturday. But luckily, I think 3 p.m. Friday it showed up, and it's a beautiful thing.
Oh, that'll do. So what were your first impressions upon playing it now? What was the first game you played?
So for me, the first game that I played, and first off, I love this thing. It's amazing. I was rocking my OG Switch. It wasn't launch day, but I think I had gotten a couple months after launch. So my battery was churning, all the good stuff. But I love the upgrade. Totally happy with it. The first game that I played was ActRaiser Renaissance.
Oh,
and I ended up beating it on the OLED. That was a really fun game. But the thing that really caught my eye was the opening cutscene, and then they dropped the ActRaiser logo on this awesome like black shiny starry background, and it just popped, man. It was awesome.
Yeah, I as a like a software developer, and like I've picked up on design techniques. I've always been told that you should never use pure black for anything. I've heard it's not a color it's not a real color, and you should always use sort of an off black, a very dark black. And so I've always done that, but like I'm sort of glad these games now did use this pure black, because if they didn't, like you've seen the black of the dark theme on Switch is not a pure black, and a lot of people kind of want there to be a pure black. But like, yeah, a lot of these games were using pure black, and like, boy, they look really good right now. All right, how about you, James? What did you play first?
The first thing I played was Dread. I picked that up earlier the day of the Switch launch. So I was playing it on my old Switch and then popped it into the OLED. And that game was the perfect game to release alongside this thing, because again, that game has so many little pockets of just like dead, space that's not being used, and there's a ton of really good like color contrast in the blacks in it. So I played that. I went through my software to see like, what do I want on this right now. I picked Sayonara Wild Hearts, of course, which looks amazing on the system. Tori 3D 1 and 2, and I think and Hades was the other game I played. So that's all I've played on it so far. I
does Hades as well? It looks awesome.
It looks great. It's so colorful. It's just so like everything pops. It's so vivid. Like no matter, I'm gonna eventually play everything on this thing, but it's like for right now, I'm just like, what's gonna look the best? What's gonna look the coolest right now? My eye, it's like I got new eyes. I gotta figure this out. Yeah.
Dusty and the Switch Mob. He said, I was like, oh, what games are you guys playing or whatever? And he goes, well, I have an OLED TV, so it's no big deal. And it kind of like occurred to me at that moment, like, oh yeah, I guess. If you were just playing Nintendo Switch on an OLED TV, you would have seen all this stuff already. But either not a lot of people have an OLED TV, or, it's just that when you've been playing portably, we've all been playing on the same screen.
Yeah.
And, that's it. But it's like, oh, wow, I guess, yeah, we could have seen these cool things.
Right. Like in a way, we're getting equality on both like the portable and the handheld if you have, or and the docked if you have like an OLED screen. But yeah, it's definitely it's like significantly an upgrade. It's so nice to look at.
Yeah. And I will agree, like Metroid was a perfect, I don't know if it was an inspiration or at what point, but the title screen, when like it comes up, it just looks so good on the OLED. And you're like, it felt like a system launch where this is like the launch title and it was built for OLED. And I don't think it was. It certainly couldn't have been unless they've been planning this for at least over 2 years.
Yeah.
But like, man, that title screen could not have been more perfect for a piece of hardware. And I'll always associate the OLED Switch with Metroid Dread forever. They'll just be inextricably linked.
I mean, even the white Joy-Con white dock, the Emmys that you're fighting, like the white one, like it feels like the Switch and Metroid are like one and the same.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah. So now what do you think about, have you like tried out the, to me, the two biggest parts besides the screen are the audio and the kickstand. Have either of you really explored that part of it? Because I'll tell you right now, I've been playing a lot of Metroid. I usually play with my headphones on. I've been
Mhm.
playing a lot of Metroid, sitting down while watching like the football game or the baseball playoffs,
Mhm.
not with my headphones on, and just with the audio and the speaker sound. I mean, I don't know if they're the best sounding speakers ever, but they sound so much better than the old speakers.
Yeah, I agree. I think the speakers sound awesome. I play with a Satisfy grip, at least on my old Switch. So I wanted to do a compare, kind of side to side with the old and the new, and even the positioning of the speakers down a little bit lower. Yeah, I don't know what it is, but it just sounds a lot better to me. So I've been
Richer.
enjoying that so far.
Does the
Yeah,
Satisfy grip still fit or no?
It doesn't. I tried to
Okay.
gently
Very
slide
gently.
it in, but I got some resistance and I aborted mission real quick.
Okay. Are you going to
Um,
get one of the new ones? Because they are
no,
doing new ones.
yeah, I saw they dropped a new one over the weekend. I had already ordered the Skull and Co. grip,
Oh, okay. All right.
so I'm gonna try that one out first, see how I like it.
the flip grip doesn't fit as well. They're working on a new model of that,
Oh, I forgot about that.
which hurt me to hear because I play a lot of old school shooters.
Does the flip grip? I know I don't have a flip grip, but does it like hold the Switch like, is it the width of the Switch it's too big, or is it too
Yeah.
tall?
It's too big, so it won't even fit in the flip the grip itself.
Okay.
That little extra bit, just because it fits in vertically.
Right. Okay.
But yeah, it's
Okay.
a bummer. But
Wow. I've been looking for it. I haven't done it yet, but the kickstand is amazing. I think I kind of expected that you would open it and it would sort of like lock into various positions. But it stays stable in any position. And as awesome as it is, I don't play tabletop very much, but I'm wondering now if tabletop will become more palatable because it's there. So like the original Switch, videos, would always show people like playing it and then going on an airplane and taking the Joy-Cons out and all that. And I don't know if we really do that. Maybe one of you guys does, but like,
see,
you do that.
that is me to like those commercials is how I played the Switch, especially like when it came out. I'm the person that will bring it to like lunch, bring it to like a bar or a brewery, and just set it up on a stand and have my Pro controller and play it. I was playing 1-2 Switch with random people at breweries in 2017 when they came out. I am like the tabletop mode guy. So
Okay.
Yeah, the last time I played tabletop, it was on a plane, which was 2 years ago at this point with one of my coworkers. So
Okay.
I don't frequent tabletop too often.
Yeah, I was gonna say, do you sit next to random women? Like, is that like the thing, the way it
Yeah,
works?
it's a pickup line,
It's going to play some
You can play-
Smash.
play some Mario Kart.
No, but the screen size clearly is a lot bigger, right? It's 25% bigger, which is easy to lose because it's only like, what, 0.8 inches bigger. And I think that was always a hindrance. The kickstand wasn't always a hindrance. The kickstand was sort of like, I wish this kickstand was better. Don't hit the table because my Switch will fall. But because the screen was smaller, a lot of games you couldn't play very comfortably tabletop. And one of them that comes to mind is Smash Brothers. Now, you still would be playing with Joy-Cons, but I mean, being able to see the screen in a bigger size just feels like this would be better for doing tabletop. So I'm curious to see. And then I didn't even know this until I was playing with it. I also didn't know my wife and I hold the Switch differently, but when I hold the Switch, I put my pinkies underneath to support the weight of the Switch. And then I kind of rest them on my pinkies and then I sort of play. So I'm not putting a lot of tension on the Joy-Cons, but there's rubber grips on the bottom of the Switch now that didn't exist before. And I feel them while I'm holding the Switch.
I feel like those might pop off eventually. I don't know how secure those are in there.
Oh, you think so? Oh, I just assumed they're
I don't
like
know.
glued or something like that.
Yeah, I have no idea, but I experienced the same thing. So
I think it's there to accompany the kickstand so
absolutely.
that it takes some of the
sliding.
pressure. Yeah. So, I mean, it's welcome and it doesn't totally bother. In fact, I kind of like it because it reminds me that I have a different feeling Switch. I will also say one last thing. When you pick the Switch out of the dock, it feels different. It's like the screen is more glossy. It's smoother. It feels like a next generation Switch. Like if you told me what would be grabbing a next gen Switch feel like, it'd feel like this, like a very smooth screen. It almost feels thinner, but I think it's just my brain playing tricks on me. But
No,
it just
it
feels like a
absolutely
different
is.
thing.
It's so nice.
Yeah.
I was looking inside the dock and like the material that they have on the right and the left hand sides that kind of guide in the Switch. It's different than the old Switch.
Oh, is it? What
it's
is
like
it?
more of like that glossy material they have in the dock as opposed to
yeah.
I don't know. Is it like padding or something on the original one? I have to go back and look, but it definitely feels different.
Oh yeah, I can see we have the Animal Crossing. It's got like a little rubber strip almost.
Yes,
and this is
exactly.
just kind of like a smooth glossy plastic or on the inside of the OLED stock.
So like, does that go all the way down or something? I need to look. Because the original one I thought just had a little tiny little piece kind of near the top. Because my original screen scratched putting it in and out of the dock.
Yeah, no, it's the front and the back on the left and right sides. There's like a little like raised, half an inch, I don't know, bump on each side. I don't know how else to describe it.
Cool. Yeah. I'm. What do you got, James?
Oh, I was gonna say like going from back in like 2017, going from the Wii U's gamepad to the Switch felt like you were going from something not cheaply made, but something very different to something very sturdily made. And I feel like to a certain extent, this is almost that same jump. Maybe not as severe, but it does feel like a quality jump. It's a little heavier. Obviously the screen, but not even having it on right now. The screen's just got that glossy look to it. It just looks like a premium piece of technology.
I've actually seen both of these guys take glances to the side because they're looking at their Switch kind of lovingly. And I think it's apropos.
I can't get enough of this dock. I love how it's all curved, how it has, again, I don't know how to describe it, but it's almost like the little bezel. So it gives it some character to the face of it as opposed to just like a flat piece of plastic. It's got at least the white dock and then the glossy black interior. I'm talking about it like it's a car. Like, come on now. This thing's amazing.
Nicer car.
It's a nicer car. Although I did scare myself when I took the back panel off to plug into power. It just kind of pops off.
Yeah,
I don't know if the newer Switches do that, but I was like, oh shit.
It's not a hinge anymore. It just like straight up comes off. No, my partner was looking at the dock a few days ago, and it just kind of popped off, and they were like, why did that happen? And I was like, oh, it's probably fine.
You could take it off the old one, but it was a hinge, and you took it off the hinge.
Yeah, this just comes right off.
Just comes off. And it does have a little it's like a quarter circle, so that cords, because on the old one the cords came out from the side, and if they hung down they would put weight on the hinge, and so now they just sort of let it flop, so the cords will hang a little bit better.
Super nice.
But yeah, I think it sounds like we're all pretty happy. Now, here's a question I want to ask you guys. How does this Switch going to change the way you game? Are you planning on playing some games that maybe you weren't going to play before? You're going to play your Switch more or less? Like, how does this change the way that you are gaming right now?
I don't think it's going to change for me really, because I was always sort of 50% handheld, 50% docked. But I think it's going to be more comfortable playing in handheld mode when I'm at home, which is something I rarely do. Like I'm not the kind of person that will like have my Switch, have TV going on in the background. I'm more likely to, when I'm at home, pop it in the dock, play it on the TV. I feel like the thing that's going to change for me is going to be just like being, kicking back on the couch and listening to a podcast or watching some TV with my Switch in handheld mode more often at home.
Because you just like that screen.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Yeah, for me, I don't think it's going to change all that much. I'm probably 75-25 handheld. I've got a young son at home, so he sometimes takes the TV for Paw Patrol or what have you. So I play a lot of handheld when that stuff's going on. But the one thing I think I'm going to do is go back to some old games and try it out, see what they look like. I think Fire Emblem Three Houses I'm going to go back to, because I had a really hard time with the text size on the old Switch, just to see if this is going to fix that experience at all for me.
That is interesting. So I had a selection of games that I wanted to try on day one, and one of those was Slay the Spire, because I usually play Slay the Spire on my Switch Lite. I don't know why. I like the Switch Lite better because it doesn't have the Joy-Cons on there, so there's no wiggle. But, reading the text on the cards, where oftentimes I don't really have to, because I've played it enough. But I always say, how come I'm not playing this on my regular size Switch? But now that I have the 7-inch screen, I was playing it on there, and it looks sharp and pretty. And so I asked this question: how does it change your gaming? Because it actually is going to change it quite dramatically for me. For one thing, my Switch Lite is going to get way less play. Like I said, I usually will play certain games on the Switch Lite, and then I'll keep my Switch docked. So we've been doing like the WarioWare competition, Johnny. I have always played that one docked. But then if I play, Slay the Spire or maybe some other games that I pick and choose, I will say I'm only going to play it on my Switch Lite. And that's because the save files going back and forth. I usually pick one console and just stick with it. But yeah, I have 2 Switch Lites right now. I need to sell one of them. And I think my Switch Lite's not going to get as much play. The other thing is, I generally will split my time between my Xbox and my Switch. But I think this is going to make me play my Switch more, at least in the short term. Because what you said, which is I want to play some of these games in the past, like Hades you mentioned. I've been wanting to get back into Hades for a while, and I think this kind of pushes me over the edge to do some more of the completion stuff in Hades. I've already rolled credits on it. I did the 10, beat Hades 9-10 times. But there's still more I want to do and more unlock stuff I want to do. I also today played Downwell, which I hadn't played since our second monthly Mayhem. James, I don't know if you've ever played Downwell, but it's just like this.
That is the reason I have the flip grip. I love that game.
Yes. And when I played Downwell, I don't have a flip grip, but I actually put it on my, I have a Nintendo stand. Yeah. And I would put it on there and then just play with the Joy-Con detached. But I played Downwell a bit today, and it looks so good. I mean, the background's all black. Yeah. So I've never beaten that game. I'm going to give that one a try. There's just a whole bunch of games I just want to go back to and play because of this thing. Now we've tried Metroid Dread. Like you said, Hades looks really good. Is anybody going to play or Tetris Effect?
Yeah.
I was thinking about it.
Sorry. I was just, that is like one game I'm super keen to grab on the Switch to look at on the OLED. It is like $40 digital, so I'm holding off a little bit. Okay. I love that game, but yeah, that was one of the things I wanted at launch, and didn't grab just because it's price point at the moment. I'll get it eventually.
Yeah, I just played it on Game Pass, so I might wait for a sale, because I think that would be nice handheld.
And my buddy Ryan said the same thing too. He's interested in picking that one up, but I think everyone's gonna wait for at least the first sale.
It's already on sale right now. It's 30 from 40 for 10 days, but I still think that's a ton right now. Especially like John said, it's on Game Pass right now. If you have an outlet to play it on, that's like the best way to play it right now.
I did play it on Game Pass, and I didn't know what it was when I played it. And it was just getting 40 lines in all the levels. And after about 8 of those, I was like, okay, it wasn't really challenging or whatever. I was like, I know there's more to this, but I don't know what there is. So I sort of stopped playing it, but I know that there's an online co-op thing.
Yeah.
And that's what I want to kind of play. But it just looks like the kind of game at night when my wife is watching shows and I'm kind of watching with her, is just sit in the chair in the dark with headphones on an OLED screen. And it just seems like it'd be a much more chill way to play than kind of on my Xbox. So and it came out on October 8th. Yeah. A coincidence? I don't know. I mean,
that is one of the more perfect titles to release on the same day.
Yeah, it really is. So I think this is going to get me to buy that too. What else? What else do we got? Anything else? The Amiibo 2-pack, I think I caught my eye on it while I was at Best Buy and they were putting all my stuff together, and I was like, that is the hottest Amiibo set I think we've seen in quite a while. Quite smitten with it.
I would say probably my favorite amiibo since Samus Returns. I really liked those also. The squishy Metroid and the really cool like Metroid 2 Samus that with that classic pose.
Yeah, I've got that. I've always had that one behind me. This one, right?
Yeah.
Nice.
And the one with the Metroid breaking out of the glass, which I think is a really cool design. It collects dust very visibly, though. I have to clean it from time to time.
I don't know if you can see that beam up there. That's where all of our amiibos are. Is up on that beam.
I think I see it.
So yeah, there. I agree. That Metroid dust clings to that thing. Whenever I go up there to like clean them off, I'm like, oh, this one's particularly horrifying.
Yeah, it doesn't look so good with all the dust on it.
Yeah.
And then you guys have all been playing Metroid, I presume.
Yeah, I actually just finished it about an hour before we started.
Oh right, okay. I don't want any spoilers here.
I won't. I will not spoil anything.
I will go. I think it's my game of the year now. I haven't finished it. I don't even want to tell you where I am in it. We're not going to do anything until like maybe next week. But I'm about 6 or 7 hours in. I'm sure the game can be beaten faster. I've gotten stuck a few times. Once for like an hour. But I think it's my game of the year so far. It's easily the best game Nintendo put out this year as well.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. It's one of my games of the year. I think I'm still kind of teetering between a couple. But yeah, it's fantastic. Definitely worth the wait. And I immediately started it over after finishing it. I was like, I'm going again. And that's the second time I've done that with a game this year. So gaming has been really good this year.
Yeah. What was your completion percentage when you finished it the first time?
I didn't go for a lot. I think I only had like 40 or so, on the extra items and stuff. So I didn't go for a lot of the extra stuff. I really want to pop back in, maybe do either a faster run, try to finish it faster, or do a more complete run. I'm in like the first 30 minutes of my new run, just trying to figure out how I want to shape it. But the game is so cool.
It's really cool.
It's super special.
Hambone, you're like an hour in, you said?
Just about an hour in. Yeah. I got stuck already, so I'm just
It's tricky.
It's tricky, man. It's tricky, but I'm enjoying it so far. It's a beautiful game.
The original Metroid had no map, and the third Metroid, my biggest complaint about it is it hides the secret areas. So you can be looking at your map and you can see a bunch of rooms that look like you've fully searched them, and then you go back and there's these hidden walkways that are not on the map.
Yeah.
But like Zero Mission and Fusion have better maps. This game is closer to those games. The one complaint I'll have, I don't know, maybe because the map is just huge, but when I look at the map, like a few times I've gotten stuck, I'm like staring at the map, trying to see where in the map did I hit somewhere where I can go now, because it'll actually show you, here's I don't want to say anything too specific for Jonny, but here's an area where, you have to use this sort of weapon to get through or whatever. And once you get that weapon, the first thing you can do is look at the map and say, okay, where should I go next? I have gotten stuck for over an hour and eventually got to a place where you can literally see on the map, there's a door that is now one you can open and you can now go. But I could not see that door looking through the maps. There's so much detail presented there. It's really hard to see where to go. And I also remember Zero Mission and Fusion would literally tell you where you need to go next. They'd literally blink the room that you need to go to. And they don't do that here.
One really helpful thing the game does is when you unlock a new power, you usually have to get out of the room that you're in using that power.
Right.
When you open a door using any sort of new power, it still shows up on your map. So what you can do is you can open your map and hit highlight icons, and then you can zoom out on the map and it'll show you where those doors of that power that you just used are. That's one thing that helped me out, but I didn't learn about that until like 5 or 6 hours in. And I was like, oh, okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very cool.
I'll give that a try. Yeah. Jonny, you're already stuck once It'll
Yep.
probably not be the only time, but
For sure.
my gosh, the game is so good. It's
Yeah.
and we know now why Nintendo was hyping this for like 2 months because they knew it was good.
It's so refreshing to open up a Switch game and feel 60 frames. Like it's like
Yes.
shocking because I just got through with Darksiders 3 on the Switch, and that game runs not super poorly, but it is a 30 and under kind of game sometime. And like popping this in immediately, I was just like, why is it running so good?
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Yeah.
That was my exact reaction as soon as the title screen and then the game started and I started moving. I was like, oh, this game's gonna be so great. It was like it's just so beautiful.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Well, I think we're all excited. I can't wait. I when we talk about games that we've played, I mean, for the next month or so, I'm gonna have so many like dingbat weird old games that I'm gonna be going back to just for the OLED screen. I can't wait. Now I kind of want to get an OLED TV. I was like, if it was this great, what will movies look like on it?
Yeah.
But I can't wait. I'm so excited. The hype was worth it, and yeah, I'm just super excited. So I want to thank you guys for coming on the show and sharing your joy. And James, I will never doubt you again, James. You got that OLED. And then once you got it, you got those white Joy-Cons. I don't even know how. Just magic.
Yeah, everything magically worked out. So thank you. Thanks for having me on too.
And I want to thank you for mentioning Sayonara Wild Hearts. And it's not just me every episode here, but it's one of the quick story about James. We were at a DRG event, one of our swap meets, and he was playing Sayonara Wild Hearts music. And I was like, oh, I love Sayonara Wild Hearts too. And then we sort of bonded over it. And then he mentioned that there was like a seller that was selling the version of the game with the patch in it, like the physical, not like a digital patch, but like a physical patch. And I said, oh, I had seen that game case, but I think it's the version I had. And he goes, no, that one has the patch. And I was like, excuse me, I'm going to go buy that. And I just went over and bought that. And it's so cool. Where do I have it? Wait, I have it. It's right here. Look at that patch.
Yeah, it's so good.
Cool.
There's a
cool.
PAX exclusive pin that we grabbed too. Like when that game came out, that game is so good.
Yeah. See?
Yeah.
Not just
I have played that before. It's on my short list to try again, especially the mushroom level, whatever one that is. That's my favorite.
Oh yes.
It's
Yeah, it has
good.
Mario sounds in it. So cool.
Did you finish it?
Me?
John?
I did.
Oh,
I did.
Okay.
Yeah.
You don't
No,
finish it.
No, I know you finished it. Well, yeah, but I mean, at least play through it once.
Yes,
I've
I played through it once.
I know multiple people they've played through it. Like Kevin, Drew, my wife, they finish it and they move on. And I'm like, no. You got to keep going, man.
Yeah.
You got to keep going. There's so much like more to discover. It's so cool. But we should do another special Sayonara episode. We won't talk about it anymore, but it does look really great on the OLED screen. So that's why we mentioned it. All right, guys. Thanks for joining, and good night, dads.
Good night.
Night.
The Dads After Dark show is a part of the Nintendo Dads family of podcasts. You can subscribe to us anywhere podcasts are available, including iTunes, Google Play, Spotify, and Stitcher. Be sure to join us on the Nintendo Dads Discord in the Dads After Dark show channel for some naughty After Dark talk. Follow us on Twitter at @NDadsAfterDark. Ask us a question, and we may answer it on the show. That's all for tonight. Good night, Dads. Sweet dreams.